Here's the next one. The left side of the ear, also the left side, the crust is, doesn't seem to be so interesting, like the right side, because of on the right side we got these micro eggs, so they have like a big housing there, like there's, you may say, there on the right side there's New York City, and the left side is like the swamps of what, um, Mississippi? Yes, and here the shiny part, you see it, bottom? That looks like it could be some kind of glazed crust, or this may be some fungi, like I've seen on my, I don't know, on the fingers, hands, crusts, Haven't been looking at my fingers for a long time now because I've been busy with micro eggs, that is more action there, more to take care of, it's like this leaking all the time is like having a baby above your ear, a very young baby, and you have to take care of it. So this is how this looks. Now let's go back, move faster. Okay, and now we're going to change the light, like getting it more blinded somehow, like this. Then look at this. Look at the structures a little bit better, more. If there's anything interesting, what is this? Some kind of muffler, exhaust pipe here. So there's always some kind of surprise there, Very unusual. I put this eventually to those eggs. Well, since they're dry, I think this professor, she's not going to want them. Although when you think about it, because she's going to grow cultures on them to figure out what kind of bacteria they have, viruses or whatever. But because they have to be fresh, right? That's understandable. And she's sending me these tubes or whatever, dishes, where I put them in, because there's a liquid in there already, like a gel or something like that. I presume that there's something like this. But these crusts here, although they're dry, when you put water on it, then they're wet. They're getting wet, liquid again. So theoretically, that we can just open up. We're opening up the virus to exist again. This is my theory. I'm no physician or I'm no physician or chemist or whatever to know if this is correct or not. But this is how I think. Like when I have the crust on my right hand side, for instance, where those micro eggs are, then you've seen it on the clip, the last two clips. How thick it was on it, like those hair were really stuck to it like glue, and ripping it off or cutting it off is not a good solution. So whenever I get a chance, I put warm water on it, and yes, of course, it hurts a little bit. I have to be careful. Then I have to eventually, in German is tupfen, meaning you're taking your towel and you're not wiping it off, you're putting the towel on the wound and let it soak off like with the gauze. But these crusts there on the hair, I may pull them apart or use a comb to comb it off. Or additionally, I just rub it off very carefully, I rub it off on the crusts. So that way they will loosen, and eventually, afterwards I may use a comb, C-O-M-B, to get it off. I'm just closing in because when I see something suspect, strange, whatever, putting more light on. Oh, look at this, more fusion. Maybe a little bit too much, but sometimes that little bit too much may be just perfect. And sometimes it won't, of course. There's this, what I refer to as a muffler. What may this be? You can write nice stories, about these things, these crusts, what one sees here, Yeah. For an artist, who likes sculptures and paintings, this is perfect, getting perfect ideas just by looking this crust here. you could imagine that this, what you're actually looking at now, right now, the yellow part is, without the Morgellon, not necessarily, is maybe a big giant rock, no, mountain, yes. And maybe it's a little bit smaller than a mountain, you know. And that could be, the Morgellon could be a tree, a dried out tree, you know, and put some houses there, some log houses there. Look at this, there's a face there, on a side view face of a woman or an Indian. Here, the eye looks like a heart. And then is side view, you know, and then you see the nose is in the center of the screen. And then come the mouth, lips, you know, and it has white hair. Maybe behind her there's someone else, a little child standing, or she's holding a little child, you know, like on her back, you know, just, you know, I see these things right now. Later on, when I watch them on the, what's it called, computer, I may not see these things anymore. Suddenly they're gone. So you guys are probably wondering, like, what is his problem, you know? What is Borgie's problem? What is he taking? You know, I'd like to have some of it too, you know? Yes, me too. So here it's shiny. So that's also a good thing. The yellow stuff, there seems to be some kind of fungi. This is my observation. I'm turning it a little further, see what happens. Let's get this out of focus. You see how thin the crust is. And this could be very nerve-wracking, you know, by moving this too much too often. I understand that. We'll turn this around now. Here, like without the light, I'm gonna put it out. Oh wait, it kind of shined. It was shiny, you know, like crystal almost, shining in the light. Maybe this is like quartz. Looks like quartz. Well, Borgellians, you know, I've seen a YouTube, not directly watching it, but I saw it on the title about Borgellians or Borgs, yes, that they have 10 flaws. For instance, this guy, whoever made this video, this clip, I wasn't very fond of it to watch it. The 10 flaws that Borgs have is, for instance, bad eye vision. Why would he say that, or she, or whoever made that video? Because they have one eye, and what do you think this other one is? I would say that this other one eye, this is that looks like a flower, may also be something like a laser search thing for a guided systems. For instance, you know, you can install it just like the military has. Also, a second eye could be a camera inside with a very deep zoom, like this camera here has, you know, using a zooming in. And maybe infrared and so on, you know, like they're not showing us everything in Star Trek. You know, they just show us, you know, to keep it like a fantasy. They don't want to tell us too much. And they have bad walking styles. I guess the Borgs chose humanoids, you know, because humanoids can walk, you know, and they should also show in those Star Trek movies some other creatures that they have assimilated, because not always there are humanoids that look like humans which have been assimilated who have intelligence. There are other beings out there that may look like insects and are even more intelligent than we are, just like the Greys and the Raptoids and who knows what else, you know. And they may have, just like this crust you're looking at right now, this spacecraft, this could be a spacecraft, you know, that looks like ridiculous, but it's camouflaged, flying through space, looks like a meteorite or like an asteroid, you know. With an asteroid, you can go very close to a planet without the planet people realizing that there's a spacecraft out there that is scanning them right now, you know. So they should also show not only Borgs, but other, like maybe in other levels of the Borg ship or another Borg ship that have also other assimilated creatures. Not, you know, with digital TV, you can make that happen, appear, you know, show that. You know, that things look like spiders or insects walking around that are assimilated like the Borg, that have these pipes, these hoses sticking out of them, you know, because they have been assimilated. You know, maybe there are some other species that do not let themselves be assimilated. Maybe the Borgs can be found on another planet as prisoners, or that are being what do you say? They're going to be on another planet with other creatures that have taken those Borgs and figured out, hey, these Borgs are used to be humanoids, human people from another planet, you know, and they have the technology to turn it over, to make those Borgs back to humans, you know, to learn more from them. It's logical. We use specimens, those physicists and chemists or whatever, the ones that can change their DNA, to make one sheep, make a double sheep, make a copy of it, you know, to changing the DNA structure, you know. So you can make something better or you can make something worse. So if someone has already created something worse, like the Borg, like me, myself, turning into a Borg with the right medication, surgery, whatever, they can put me back into a human being. Maybe even make me something better, make me resistant to all the diseases. You know, make me have superpowers, give me more superpowers like telepathic abilities, the Enigma or the Stargate project, you know, and have telekinesis and all these things. Of course, these would be used for the military, you know, just like this here. You're looking at this crust. It's not a crust. It's a part of a starship. It may also be a genital area from female, and yes, so no. Go. Okay, to the next subject.